Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be passion, purpose, and perseverance. Well, I got 5 quick emails I'm going to go through with you today, but before we get into it, I have a quote that I wrote I want to share with you, and then we're going to jump into the first email. And the quote says, "Everyone needs a purpose in life, something that is emotionally compelling and exciting to them to strive for. Without a passion for a purpose, you're just another meat sack aimlessly wandering through life, a ship without a rudder. We are all divinely guided and capable creators. We are here to enjoy the gift of life and to create our grandest goals, dreams, and to reach our full potential. It serves no one to live a life that is less than what you are capable of living. Dream great dreams that inspire and motivate you to become more than you are today. Your time on this planet is limited, and you must spend the moments of your life doing something. Doesn't it make sense to go for what really excites you instead of what makes you miserable?" I would think so. Well, the first email I got is a short one from a woman, and she's got a few observations. She says, "Hey, Corey, I'm one of the girls that represent 10% of your audience. I'm not writing for advice, just wanted to write to say that I love you." Well, thank you. Love you back. "I just got turned on to your YouTube channel by a guy friend of mine who stumbled upon your work. Now I'm hooked. I especially like your info about finding and following your passion in your career. I also love your insight on human psychology and relationships." Yeah, the good news is you can use this stuff also. The stuff that you're learning that I teach about dating, relationships, pickup skills, that stuff all applies in business as well. She says, "You're right about almost everything. Guys, listen up. I can attest that I'm sick," and listen what she says here, because I talk about this a lot. She says, "I can attest that I'm sick of the wussy boys who act like girls out there. I want my alpha male. Anyway, my buddy and I, we quote you constantly, and you have no idea how much your Coreyisms have been part of our vocabulary. I made this song inspired by you as a joke and sent it to him." This is actually pretty funny. She did I think it's a Nicki Minaj, I can't say her fucking name, but it's a song, and it's a bunch of the things that you hear me talk about all the time repeated over and over in a little rhyme. I thought it was pretty cool. On the article on my website that has this video, I'll put a link and you can actually listen to this song. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, you will crack up. And the 3 H's, they appear in the little song. It's pretty cool. So let's move on to the second email. This guy says, "Hey, Coach, maybe you want to use this as a reference, but actually it's a big thank you to you. It's a true story. That's how easy it can be. That's how easy it is kind of story." He says, "After I had a lot of fun making out and sex with a bunch of lovely women last year, I stopped dating and meeting random girls." So you stopped hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, huh? "I felt like I shouldn't do it. I lost my confidence and questioned if I'd meet a lovely girlfriend this way. Anyway, a few weeks back, I resumed watching your videos, and I think about why I shouldn't meet random women and also many women. I got a new job in an awesome restaurant with great co-workers, most of whom are amazing girls. How convenient. And on the side, I still have enough time to work on my career in acting, film, music, and so on. It's funny how everything just seems to work out fine, as in one has a path, a mission, and everything as you say." Well, all of us, men and women, we've got to have something that we're doing in life. We've got to have something that we're pursuing. It's like, because most of the people in this world, they're working at jobs, careers, or businesses that don't fucking excite them. And you got to do something with your life, but it's like, because at least half my clients are helping them figure out the purpose of life, the purpose of their life. In other words, what they really want to do with their lives. And the biggest reason why most people don't go for what they really want is they think is fear. They think, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good looking enough, I don't have enough connections, I don't have enough education, I could never do that, I think I'd probably fail at it. So they don't even try. So instead of going for what they really want, they choose to do something that's mediocre. Or, like I remember a girl years ago, this was back when I was waiting tables, when I was sleeping on my dad's couch, when I was still trying to figure out my business model. I worked with this girl, and she was fucking one of the most beautiful women I've ever met in my life. She had a lot of confidence, she really got men. And she was very charming, but she had no self-confidence. She had no belief in herself. And I remember, I think said she had talked to her dad, and her dad, She's like, well, I got to be realistic. This girl has jumped around. She's had 5 or 6 fucking bullshit jobs since then. And she's not doing what she really wants, which is to be a writer. She loves writing. She loves English. Like I said, one of the most beautiful women, charming women I've ever met in my life. And she's just like the rest of the people. She's just shooting for a life that is totally less than what she's capable of living. And it's sad for me knowing what I know and seeing somebody do that and just give up on themselves, because I know how that's going to affect her 10, 15, 20 years down the road. She'll be overweight, she'll have gray hair, she'll have circles in her eyes, she'll probably marry some dude that's not the kind of guy that really knocks her socks off, and just live an average, mediocre life and die many years before she should have. That to me is sad. That's a fucking tragedy. And the majority of the people in the world are like that. They've already given up before they even try, because they think, oh, that's not in the cards for me. I got to be realistic after all. What a strategic planner taught me many years ago. He said there's no such thing as a bad idea, only bad plans. And since most people don't know how to put a plan like that together, they just try to go for what's easy. It's just, and you're never going to make yourself happy. Why fucking settle? I tried that when I was younger. Settling never made me happy. It made me fucking absolutely miserable. Whether it was jobs that I was working at or relationships I was in. I mean, settling is what led me to get married the first time around, because everybody talked me into it, and I talked myself into it. And eventually I realized I felt like I was dying a slow death by living in that life that I was living and being in that relationship that really wasn't all that it could have been. He continues on, I mean, I actually have these amazing gals at my job when I go shopping, and I chat a little with whoever I feel like having a nice chat with. I did a video a while back called Be Friendly to Everyone Everywhere. It's a great video. It's a great philosophy to have. You see people in an elevator, chat them up. You see people in the grocery store, say hello, start chatting with them. When I go out, I chat up any girl I want to get to know. I talk with their friends. I get numbers that easily, just like that. The girls I make out and hook up with are no longer 7s anymore, but rather 8s, 9s, and 10s. The good thing is they don't want me. I don't need them. I move on. But now it's actually easy, and I feel good about it because there's so many pretty and lovely ones out there. That's why I say in my book, there's another bus every 15 minutes. The worst thing you can do is get attached to one particular girl, try to make them into what you want, sit around in friend zone waiting for them to change their mind about you. If you're a man, what you owe is to just show up and go for it. Make a date. Get a phone number. You at least got to show up. And if it's not reciprocated, hey, you did your part. That's all you owe the world, is just to do your part and to show up. He says, I know I'll meet the next one in a matter of days. I guess I have a way more positive attitude now. And listen to what he says. He says, I didn't believe the emails you were reading about guys having 3 dates in one day, etc. That's why I put this stuff out there. I put my best stuff out there. People can even read my fucking ebook for free before they ever buy it on Amazon, downloading the Kindle or the paperback version. You can read it for free on my website by signing up for my newsletter. And apply the things that I teach. If you apply them, you'll see that it works for you. And then once you see that it works for you, you can come back, make a donation, buy the book, or at least refer your friends and family to it. He says, and now I have a date today. I had to cancel one yesterday because I was too tired. Oh, poor baby. There's one tomorrow and maybe one on Tuesday. I'm staying over at a gal's place on Wednesday. Oh, you poor baby. I think it's great. Young guy like you, sowing your oats, having a fucking great time, being able to have that kind of choice when you're young, because those experiences help you figure out what you really want and what's most important to you. And after all, confidence comes from having experiences. So you're having all these amazing experiences, and as you get older, you'll get pickier. But fuck, when you're young and you're in your 20s, fuck yeah, you want to rock out with your cock out, man. He says, I'm not bragging. This is the truth. Thank you. He says, I didn't really know what changed, but thank you. He says, a quick question, though. I feel like if I commit to a relationship now, I'd lose my freedom. But I really enjoy partying and hanging out with my friends at this point. Hang out, have fun, hook up. And if you've read my book 10 to 15 times, like I would assume that you have, there's an article that I talk about in there called How to Keep a Relationship Casual When She Wants to Be Serious. watch that video and just follow it. Just speak your truth. If you don't want to get serious, you're not obligated to be in a relationship with somebody. If you don't want to get serious, if you don't want to be committed, just be honest about it. The worst thing you can do is bullshit somebody and make them think that you want to be exclusive or that you are exclusive. I got a guy that I know, he's got 4 or 5 women, and they all think that he's exclusive with them. It's really interesting to see. He's always stressed out during the holidays because he's trying to make the rounds or come up with excuses why he can't see one girl or he's got to get together the next day. Or it's just ridiculous. It's like, why do that? Why bend yourself into a pretzel? It's completely unnecessary. He says, it's so weird now since all doors seem to be open. I enjoy being free so much. Will I really just feel it if it's the right girl for a relationship? It'll be easy. It'll be effortless. But in the meantime, hang out, have fun, and hook up. And when it happens, you'll know. You'll feel it. You'll look in her eyes, and you'll be completing each other's sentences. You'll have a lot of the same goals, a lot of the same values. You'll have similar interests. People who like the same things tend to like each other. So keep searching. In the meantime, have a fucking great time. He says, and how would you suggest to arrange a situation with friends and partying and alone time? What's the right way to go about it? Or will everything just fall into place? Will my heart lead me? I love what one of the quotes that Wayne Dyer says. He says, when you trust in yourself, you're trusting in the same wisdom that created you. Follow your heart, dude. It's like Steve Jobs said. You must follow your heart, your curiosity, and your intuition, because they somehow already know what you want to become. And what you're talking about is you're fearful that you may settle. You're fearful that you may get yourself into a situation that you don't really want to be in. And the only time that's going to happen is if you're not honest, if you're not authentic and honest with yourself, and you're not authentic and honest with the women that you're dating. If that conversation ever comes up about being exclusive and you're not into that, be honest about it. Be honest about your feelings and speak your truth. Even if it means you might lose some of the ladies in your stable. So let's get on a third email. This guy says, hey coach, firstly I want to thank you for your videos, articles, and your book, and providing exceptional advice that really works. Keep up the good work. I have a problem with a girl that I'm totally crazy about. I've been taking your advice on maintaining distance and allowing her to chase me, which has been successful to a point. I now think I've gone overboard and kept my distance too much. 2 weeks ago, we were effectively joined at the hip, and now she's become distant. She still speaks to me often. Almost every day, she's sending me text messages. Well, when she initiates contact like that, you should be making the next date, dude. Not becoming her emotional tampon or her therapist on the phone. He says, these are mostly related to work, but it often leads to further text messaging, which is more personal. Please note, your advice on keeping text messages short and using the phone just to make a date is firmly in my mind. Well, it obviously doesn't sound like you're following. You say she's becoming more distant, but yet she's texting you every day. If you were truly using the phone to set dates instead of, it sounds like you're sending dozens and dozens of texts back and forth. That's not what I teach, dude. And it tells me that you haven't read the book 10 to 15 times. Because if you'd read it 10 to 15 times, you would know the fundamentals backwards and forwards, and you wouldn't be making these rookie mistakes. He says, texting is a preferred method of communication when we're apart. I can feel distance to her messages and phone calls, though. What you got to understand, it's like I talk about this in my book. It's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And if she's reaching out to you and you're sending 50 texts back and forth, but you're never asking her out, if she's texting you every day, but you maybe are only asking her out once or twice a week, you're fucking up. Because what's happening, and the whole reason she's reaching out is she wants to bond and connect with you. She wants to feel your strength. She wants your attention. And if you're not direct and decisive and getting to the point and making a date, you're fucking up. You're making her feel like you don't love her and you don't care about her. So naturally, what's happening is she feels herself reaching out to you, and you chit-chat back and forth like one of her gay male girlfriends, but you're never asking her out. You're never getting around to it. And then she starts to feel like you don't care about her, because if you cared about her, you'd want to see her. Especially if you started off following the principles, making a date every time she reached out to you, and if now you've stopped doing that, what's going to cause her to feel like is that you don't care anymore. He says, I think it may have taken your advice too far, and now she thinks I'm not interested, when in fact I'm dying inside. I'm used to telling girls what I'm feeling, and guess what? I always got rejected. Based on your advice, I've held off doing that with this girl to the point where it's driving me nuts, but now I get the feeling that I should have said something to her. Dude, you're complicating things. Hang out, have fun, hook up. This is what happens when you don't know the fundamentals in the book. You get all in your head, and you start thinking you should do this, you should do that. Okay, all right, I'm not going to ask her out. I'll wait and ask her out on Thursday. And yet she continues to text you. And you don't ask her out until Thursday, whereas before, when she first started dating, you always asked her out. That's going to cause her to feel like you don't care about her as much. And naturally, she's going to start to back off after a while because she's going to start to feel like a sucker. Like she's going to start to feel like, this guy's not really that into me anymore. He says, also based on your advice, I've become a little paranoid about the weakness thing. I must not portray that in any way with this girl, and I get the impression that this is pushing her away. It's okay to use self-deprecating humor and to bust on yourself. It shows that you don't take yourself too seriously. So he says, my questions are, have I gone too far in using your methods to get her to chase me? Dude, she's chasing you and she's calling you just about every day and you're not making dates. So you're not following my advice. You're not following the fundamentals because you don't know it real well. You kind of have a vague understanding of the book, if you've even read it at all, and you're watching videos here and there and you're getting confused. When a woman reaches out to you, you assume it's because she wants to see you, hang out, have fun, hook up. It's that simple. You're way overcomplicating things, dude. She's making it so easy for you. She reaches out and you're going, what do I do? It's like, come on, man. Seriously, bro. Read the book 10 to 15 times. He said, should I say anything about how I feel? Was she talking about how she feels? Make a date. Hang out. Have fun. Hook up, dude. It's really fucking simple. Read the book and all the fog will lift from your eyes. So let's move on to the fourth email. This guy says, hey, Coach, I've been following your work and implementing your principles you teach since my lady of 9 years and the children's and my kid's mother left me last summer due to me acting clueless and without a purpose like a lost little boy. Corey, I've acted fearless since then, and yesterday, as a result, I had her on her back moaning so loud the maid at the hotel was standing outside the door and just stood there smiling when we walked out of the room. Good for you, Job. Good job, man. Good for you, man. He says, now she wants to work everything out, but still I know always to be on my game from now on. Brother, my man, Coach, from my heart to yours. Good job, dude. You got your fucking girl back. That's awesome, man. That's really great. You deserve it, bro. It's your fucking birthright to have things to be easy and effortless and to have women screaming your fucking name out and ripping your hair out as you're going to town. So let's get into the fifth and final email. This guy says, hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time to read over this and give some advice. Last year, I was a complete fuck-up and made a lot of mistakes from an ex and truly regret last year. Well, you should never have any regrets. What happened happened and couldn't have happened any other way. At the end of the day, that fucking up is what led you to my work. And it caused you to start changing the way you approached your personal life. He says, however, this is an awesome new year with a lot more potential. I am recently divorced and happily getting back into shape. I'm a trickster, extreme acrobatic for a theme park, and most importantly, a go-getter. I live in Japan while being an American. Your book has helped open my eyes, and I still have a lot to learn. It's easy to pick up girls, make dates, and hang out. Even getting laid seems easy over here. However, I'm struggling with two things. First, how do I remove the feeling of my ex? He says, I don't contact her and I've been out of touch for almost 3 months now, but my feelings are still there and I find myself missing her. Time and repetition, especially when you meet somebody that's of equal or greater value than your ex, that's when you'll truly be able to let her go for a good word. No longer has a charge, if you will, or no longer has a negative charge that bothers you. But the bottom line is you're hanging out, you're having fun, you're hooking up. This is exactly what women do. And one thing that may be helpful, and I read this recently in a really good book that I'm in the process of reading, and it had a great perspective on dating and another reason why it's a lot easier for women to seemingly get over a breakup than a guy. When you think about it, women are approached all the time. Even when they're married, they constantly are getting hit on and approached by guys. Guys, on the other hand, they get into a relationship, and what happens? They stop hitting on women, they stop asking for phone numbers, they stop going out on dates. And so they, in essence, take themselves out of the game, so to speak. But women are never really out of the game because they're always getting hit on. Even when they're in a relationship, they're getting hit on. And so that's one of the things that's kind of different. So from a woman's perspective, the game never really changes for her. Obviously, when she's in a relationship, she's going to decline all the offers that she gets. But once she's single again, she just starts saying yes. Whereas a guy, once he stops asking women out, the game pretty much stops. Where, if you're in a relationship for many years, and then all of a sudden you find yourself single again, it takes a while to kind of get back in the swing of things. He says, and the most important thing to me is how do I focus on new life goals? I have accomplished some big things like living abroad, being an entertainer, bounty hunting, and a few others. Bounty hunter, that's interesting. But after my breakup, there has been a hole in my life, and I have lost motivation to find new goals to strive for in a career world. I've been trying to expand my social experiences by seeing old friends and making new ones, but I lack the motivation to find something that truly excites me like before. Well, the whole idea is you got to have something that is emotionally compelling, something that's really exciting. And if you're having a hard time coming up with something because like when I coach people to help them figure out their purpose, or they want to do a career change, or maybe they feel kind of stagnant in life, 99.9% of the time, when I start talking to them and asking them questions, there's always all kinds of fears and rules and a bullshit personal story that they tell themselves that prevents them from considering what it is they really... Because everybody knows what they would really love to do. But because they don't think it's in the cards, they don't think they're smart enough, they don't think they have enough connections, education, enough good looks, they're not talented enough, or they don't think they would succeed, they don't even consider that possibility. And so like when I start asking specific questions, when I'm doing a phone session or a Skype session with somebody, no matter where they are in the world, that's trying to help them figure out their purposes, I got to dig through all the bullshit. I got to dig through all the bullshit story that they tell themselves, because they're bullshitting themselves, and it takes a while. Some people, I can figure it out in 10, 15 minutes. Other people, it might take me a full hour of just digging because they are so reluctant to move towards what they want because there's so much fear and there's so much of a bullshit story and facade that they are telling themselves that get in the way of them even considering moving towards what it is that they want in life. And so if you're at a place in your life right now, maybe your career has gotten stagnant, maybe you don't know what your purpose is, or maybe you're like this guy, which he says, I'm lacking the motivation to find something that truly excites me like before. What that tells me, that statement in there of itself, is you've got some fears and a bullshit personal story that have created mental roadblocks that are getting in the way of you going for what you really want or considering going for what it is that you really want. And that's why a phone or a Skype session with yours truly, I can help you figure out what that is and work past all of that bullshit. Because once we get past all the bullshit and we discover what it is that you really want to, then it's just a matter of creating a plan that you can execute day in and day out, 5 days a week, at least Monday through Friday, to take action. And once you have that plan in place, then it's just a matter of taking the action. Since it's something that you really love and you really have a passion for and you're excited about, you will do what's necessary. And the reason being is there's nothing else that's more emotionally compelling than that. But we got to make sure that what you're chasing after is something you really truly love and you really truly desire and you really want to accomplish. Because when things get hard or they get difficult and you're like, oh God, I've been doing this for 5 years, I'm still not where I want to be. And then you think to yourself, what else would I want to do if I had to completely start over? And when you can't come up with anything that's more exciting, that keeps you on the path because you're really pursuing your true passion and your true love. Everybody's got a process they got to go through. Not everybody's going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg where they come up with an idea and they go, oh, this would be a really cool thing to build in their dorm room at Harvard, and they seek to build it, and they launch it, and then everybody starts using it. That's the exception to the rule. Most people, myself included, it takes many years and even decades to ultimately accomplish what it is that you want. But first you got to get through all the bullshit that you're telling yourself as to why it's not in the cards for you. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone or Skype session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab, which will be at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.